And that breaking news is sure to break Warriors' hearts. LeBron James, despite the best efforts of Steph Curry, Steve Kerr, and Draymond Green, trying to convince him, will not be coming to play in the Bay. Good morning, although not a good morning for a lot of Warriors fans, hoping and praying. Thank you for joining us. I'm Kristen Z.
And I'm Karina Nova. James announced just a few hours ago that he'll join the Philadelphia 76ers, and that may come as a surprise to some who thought he would go back home to Cleveland, go back to Miami, or even join the Warriors to play with some of his Team USA teammates.
The four-time NBA champion has caused speculation about his future for weeks after deciding publicly to leave the Lakers. Well, this morning, James said he will end his career with the 76ers on a 2-year, $8 million contract. That's quite the pay cut to go where he wanted to go, considering he made nearly $53 million last year with the Lakers.
In a statement, James partially said, "I believe I can help make the Philadelphia 76ers a championship team, and I am so excited to energize a new fan base and start this incredible journey one last time." And to help us break down this massive signing and what it means for the Warriors is ABC 7 sports director Larry Beal. Larry, how big of a surprise was this morning?
Well, I think it was surprising just from the standpoint that many of us figured it would be Miami or maybe a return home to Cleveland. I looked at Philadelphia, and at first I thought this was kind of a stretch in terms of a basketball fit, just because they do have a loaded roster at this point, but you have a lot of guys that really need the ball in their hands, and that's the way they work best. But if you just look at, the Warriors, for example, outside of Steph Curry and enjoying golf in the Bay Area, they really didn't have a lot to offer. And I think part of this process dragged out because LeBron and his agent, Rich Paul, were delaying things and hoping that some team would make another move. In the case of the Warriors, maybe attract Anthony Davis here, and they could resurrect their time from the Lakers. But the Warriors never made a move. I don't think it would have been smart to get Anthony Davis because of the contract numbers. But here we are, and now Philadelphia immediately, if you look at the Vegas odds, vaults to the top of the favorites in the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, the fact that he's willing to take just $8 million for him about this point, it's not about the money. It's trying to get that final championship, right? So I got to ask you, does that make the 76ers a total contender? And where does this leave the Warriors? Where do we go from here? Because we know we need some beefing up.
Yeah, that's a great question. Where it leaves them is depressed right now. In terms of the money, just to be clear, nobody had money for LeBron. There was nobody that was going to pay him $50 million. Everybody's right up at the edge of the salary cap. So the money was going to be the same pretty much wherever he went. Maybe he could have gotten a little bit more from the Warriors with Draymond Green restructuring his deal. The Warriors are stuck. They've got an old roster with the best shooter in the history of all time, but not much around him. You have a declining Draymond Green and a bunch of other pieces, an injured Jimmy Butler. It just never really fit from a basketball standpoint in terms of a guy who's looking to win one more championship. And that was one of the things that you mentioned earlier about the surprising part of this, is that we heard a lot of breadcrumbs being left around about how he wanted to be closer to his family, in particular his daughter, and then he wanted to play meaningful basketball and enjoy his life and all these things. And we thought, well, he's been in LA for the last 8 years. Maybe he just wants to come up the coast a little bit. He can play golf. He can fly home after every game if he wanted to. It turns out winning another championship was really, really important to him. And that's why you can see Philadelphia as the choice. They're loaded. Their big acquisition this offseason was Jaylen Brown. They already have Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid, VJ Edgecombe. That's a loaded roster. How they share the basketball and guys will have to sacrifice, that remains to be seen. As for the Warriors, they don't have a lot of chess moves left. There's a bunch of free agents who are out there, but none that are really difference makers at this point. And I think the sad part for Golden State fans is it feels like we're just going to ride out the last couple of years of Steph Curry's career without even the glimmer of a championship ahead, at least, in the next couple of years. It would be hard to see them make a move that would make that much of an impact.
Oh, that's disappointing to hear, Larry. Okay. What a downer. But can you talk about Bob Myers and his role in all of this?
Oh, Bob Myers again. I love Bob, by the way. I love him and I hate him, actually. Look, he was with the Warriors for 10 years. He was the guy who helped orchestrate Kevin Durant's arrival with the Warriors, and we know how that worked out. They won 2 titles, would have won a third if he and Klay Thompson had not gotten hurt. He's been in demand. This is why every organization wants him. I mean, the Washington Commanders and the NFL, they wanted him. ESPN wanted him. And then he lands with the 76ers. And he's just great at his job. And he was on TV making the rounds last week, talking about why he felt Philly was the best fit. And ultimately, Bob is just, he's like a force to be reckoned with. And it was great when he was on the Warriors side doing these deals and getting creative to figure out a way to lure in the best talent. And now that he's elsewhere, you can see just how dynamic a force he is at the executive level. Now, maybe the Warriors would have been in exactly the same place. Part of the reason I think he left Golden State is because he realized we're up against it, in terms of salary cap and all these other factors that were going to make it really difficult to acquire a player like a LeBron James. And so now he goes to Philadelphia. Their salary cap situation's fine. They can fit in a $4 million a year LeBron James easily. And here we go. So they become must-see TV, especially in the East.